Today I am throwing together an apple cinnamon French toast casserole for my kids' breakfast tomorrow morning. It's the weekend, and so I'm gonna throw it in the fridge overnight and let it chill. That way everything can really soak and melt together, and then I'll bake it for breakfast tomorrow morning. But I'm gonna show you how to make this casserole. Got the eggs for it. I've got 8 eggs. I'm washing my eggs because they're fresh from the chickens, but I'm just gonna let them soak for a few minutes and then I'll rinse them and we'll get going. Another thing that I'm using for this casserole is sourdough bread that I picked up at Aldi. Normally for this casserole I would just use like a sandwich bread or just a regular loaf of bread, but you can also make it, sourdough makes it really delicious. You could use brioche. I'm trying to think. You can use any kind of bread you want, but sourdough does make it really good. Now it also helps if your bread is aged a bit. This has been sitting out. I didn't really have it open because it's sourdough and it's already going to be probably a little bit dry. The drier it is, the more it'll soak up the eggs, the egg mixture. So just keep that in mind. If it's stale, that's fine. And then for the apples, I'm using just some old Jonagolds that I have on hand that need used up. These came from our bulk store in town. They're a little bit mushy, so we're not really eating them, so I'm gonna use them for this. And then of course, we have our good Guernsey butter. I'm gonna be using that. I'm looking at my recipe, so I printed my own recipe. Then we're gonna need some sour cream, some sugar, some brown sugar, cornstarch, cinnamon, nutmeg, lemon juice, milk and vanilla, and a little bit of salt. Oh, and pecans. I'm gonna gather all these ingredients together and then we'll get started on making it. You'll need about 20 ounces of bread. I've got about 24 ounces here, so I'm just gonna leave out a couple of pieces. And just cube your bread into 1-inch cubes. Next, we're gonna chop up about a cup of pecans. I'm just kind of guessing here. And then we'll take those pecans and toss them with the bread cubes in the pan. Next up, we need to dice these apples. Now in a large bowl, we're gonna put our apples, so 3 cups of apples. We need a tablespoon of sour cream. Got my butter melted, so a tablespoon of melted butter. 1/8 of a cup of cane sugar. 1/8 of a cup of light brown sugar. 1/2 tablespoon of cornstarch. 1½ teaspoons of ground cinnamon. 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. 1½ teaspoons of lemon juice. And then we're gonna mix that up. Then you're gonna take that apple mixture and we're gonna toss it with the bread cubes. So we're gonna need 8 eggs for this. We're gonna mix up our egg mixture now. Okay, you'll need 2 cups of milk. I like to use whole milk. 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. And then a teaspoon of salt. And you're just gonna whisk that up. And we're just gonna pour that egg mixture over the bread. And just let it soak in really good. We did pretty good. Now at this point you can go ahead and put the topping on and bake this now if you want to, if you're wanting to make it same day. But I want to soak mine overnight so that all the flavors and everything melt together. That gives the egg really good chance of soaking into that bread, and it'll make it even more ooey gooey. So what I'm gonna do, since I'm gonna be using foil anyway when I bake it, I'm just gonna cover it with foil and stick it in the fridge overnight. Now it can chill, and then tomorrow morning before breakfast I'll get up and throw the topping on it, stick it in the oven, and it'll be ready for Sunday morning breakfast. For the topping, we need 1/2 cup brown sugar, a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and then 4 tablespoons of butter. And you're just gonna mix that up. All right. Now you're just gonna take that topping and you're gonna crumble it over the entire casserole. So then you're gonna cover and bake your casserole for about 40 minutes, and then you'll uncover it and bake it for an additional 15 to 20 minutes.
Jeez. What?